Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Amma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhassa. Venerable Chief Reverend, Venerable Sirs, friends and children in the Dhamma, welcome for our Saturday Dhamma talk. Today we are continuing the right striving, Sammappadhāna, the second talk, in the series of the 37 Enlightenment factors. Now, in our last talk, we explained the nature of right striving, the way the Buddha practiced that right striving, ultimate his final realization of Nibbana. Today, I thought of explaining the factors of the Sammappadhāna, the right striving. Right effort or striving as a quality is something, a singular unity. It is a singular entity divided into 4 types in accordance with the manifestation or the function of this right effort. Now, in many suttas, Buddha explains how one applies this right effort for the purpose of getting rid of this recurrence process of suffering for the samsara. The first one is Anuppannānaṁ pāpakānaṁ akusalānaṁ dhammānaṁ anuppādāya. For the non-arising of the unarisen, unwholesome states. The second one is Uppannānaṁ pāpakānaṁ akusalānaṁ dhammānaṁ pahānāya. For the abandoning of the arisen unwholesome states. Now these two belong to the category of unwholesome. How to handle, how to deal with the unwholesome, demeritorious states of mind. Third and fourth categories belong to the wholesome. Anuppannānaṁ kusalānaṁ dhammānaṁ upādāya. For the arising, for the genesis of the unarisen wholesome states. Uppannānaṁ kusalānaṁ dhammānaṁ chittiya asammosāya bhiyo bhāvāya vepullāya bhavanāya paripurya. For the arisen wholesome states, titiya, for their continuance, asammosāya, for the non-decay, bhiyo bhāvāya, for the increase, vepullāya, for the expansion, bhavanāya paripurya, fulfillment of development. Now, in this talk, I'm not covering the last 2 categories of wholesome states of mind. how to handle them. In the case of putting effort, we are concentrating upon the unwholesome side, akusala. And how are we putting our effort? How should we putting our effort to get rid of them? The first one is Anupannanang papakanang akusalanang dhammanang pahanaya. Anupadaya, for the non-arising of unarisen, unwholesome states. Buddha says one has to develop such a longing towards this thwarting of the arising of those unarisen, unwholesome states. They are there inside, within us, dormant, in sleep. It is there. How do we put our effort to stop them ever coming to the surface, becoming alive within us? Buddha says, you have to chandang janeti, create desire. Now, chanda is translated, it means desire. But this chanda is not at all similar to the other derogative terms like raga, lobha, tanha. This chanda is something like ethically invariable. If there is greed and hatred and ignorance behind, this chanda becomes unwholesome. But if there is a positive, bright, energy behind this longing quality, for example, longing to be meditative, longing to observe precepts and preserve, longing to share something you have more than you need. That is chanda with the positive roots of non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. So chanda translated, it means desire, it means longing, but it is ethically variable in the sense of that chanda must be understood, whether it is unwholesome or wholesome, based on the root elements of wholesome or unwholesome. Greed, hatred, delusion, unwholesome. Non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion, wholesome. So based on the roots, you understand that chanda, whether it is right or wrong. So all these four strivings to become something effective, something fruitful, there must be a longing in your heart to strive, to work hard, put effort. Chandang janeti. Create a desire on it. Vayamati. Make an effort. Viryang arabhati. Arouses energy. Chittang pagganhati. Applies his mind. Padahati. Strives. So that's how Buddha explains when somebody puts his wholehearted effort in the process of getting rid of those unwholesome states which are dormant, asleep within you, waiting for the right time and occasion to rise up, come to life, become alive, become dominant in you. How to get rid of them? There must be some effort on it. And the next one is how to get rid of those unwholesome states that have already arisen in you. So the effort to get rid of the negative, disastrous, unwholesome side of our lives is the first part of the 4 categories of the effort, right effort. Now, we are in a dual state of consciousness. This duality is that we are both good and the bad. If someone is good today, it means he has the environment to be good. He has the education to be good. He has the parental support, parental guidelines to be good. His environment is supporting for him to be good. What if that same person is supported to the other side, to be bad, to do unwholesome, to live in a cruel, destructive manner? That same person, you can see that he is becoming disastrous, destructive, harmful. He is a curse to the world than a blessing, just because he was brought up in such an environment. He was given such an education that he is becoming disastrous. It is the environment, it is the way one is brought up that one wakes up his good or bad side. We are fortunate. We had the right guidelines from our parents and the environment we grew up. If we happen to grow up in such an environment where the crimes is often to happen, where becoming a thug, becoming a gangster is heroic, then we can find that that same person has a completely different character. He paves the way for his bad side to rise up. So nobody is a saint and nobody is a sinner. We are a duality. Sinner and the saint is within us. And this environment, the education, the people, society, the sheer brought up, sheer bringing up of our lives are not supportive for that sinner. They are supporting only for our saint, that saintliness to exist. They condemn that sinner. So therefore, we are maintaining our persona of the saint. But we should not forget, the sinner is asleep within us. In any case, if in the future the occasion is created, the situation is set up for that sinner to rise up, one can never say that sinner will not rise up. If our consciousness on good and bad become weaker, we become negligent, that sinner, that murderer will come back to life. And he will be dominating us to live in such a sinful manner. So that light, brightness, and the darkness both exist within us. This is something we always should keep in our mind. Because then we can have some fear, if not in this life, but in the future lives. We may not have this conscious support to control our sinner within us. And that sinner might rise up and lead us to do such sinful deeds which will end up demoting into hellish realms, to hells. As long as this sinner within us, as long as these unwholesome roots are within us, nobody is safe. Everybody is in danger. Because these unwholesome roots, once they are given the opportunity to flourish, they will come onto the surface and they will shape up all our activities in that negative aura, in that negative shape, negative sense. And we are descending to the darkness at the behest of those unwholesome deeds. In other words, as long as this Sakkaya Ditthi, false self-view, the self-view is there, and we are nourishing that self-view, one is always in the danger of demoting to hellish realms. Because one can only attain to the stages of Sotapanna, stream entry, with the destruction of the Sakkaya Ditthi. So attainment of the Sotapanna and destruction of the Sakkaya Ditthi, that self-view, is the only way that he can avoid is demotion to hell. And how to get rid of this Sakkaya-ditthi? Two methods. To get rid of those sleeping, dormant defilements which haven't come to the life. Getting rid of them. That is number one. Number two is to stop flourishing, to get rid of before they become manipulative, before they manifest in the harmful manner. The thoughts and emotions of negative. Getting rid of those already arisen, unwholesome states. So it is a destruction for the unwholesome states, but not all the unwholesome states are prominent, obvious. There are certain unwholesome states are dormant within us, asleep within us. They are called anusayas. Anusaya. Latent tendencies. These latent tendencies, or the anusayas, are like burning embers, charcoal, under ash. It looks like there is no fire because it is just ash on the surface. But underneath this ash, there is this bright burning charcoal embers waiting for the opportunity to flourish, to burn brightly, waiting for the opportunity. They are dormant, asleep, because they have no opportunity. And there are 7 anusayas, satta anusayas in Pali, in the Tipitaka. They are sensual pleasure, aversion, conceit, views, doubt, passion for becoming, and ignorance. They are defilements. The nature of these defilements is that they are not active within you. They are hiding, asleep within you. Why they are hiding? Because you are not providing them the opportunity to flourish. You are consciously avoiding all the situations where that you can be engaged in sensual pleasures, in anger, wrong views, doubting. You are avoiding all these situations. Then these defilements are asleep, hiding. So they are called anusayas. As I said before, the murderer is in you, but you are not providing the right situation. A rapist can be in someone, but he's not giving that opportunity for that rapist to wake up. A murderer, a thief is there, but his consciousness is taught that stealing things are bad, He's been taught not to steal. The bad results of stealing. So his consciousness is not letting that thief within you, within that mind to rise up. But that thief is there. The murderer, the thief, the liar, all the criminals are within you. You are just not allowing them to come up. So they are gone to sleep. But it is half asleep, half awake, keeping one eye open, waiting for the right time. This is how the defilements in the mode of sleepiness function. They are called anusayas. There are 7 anusayas. I repeat for your benefit: sensual passion, aversion, conceit, views, doubt, passion for becoming, we call bhavatanha, and ignorance. Now, what is the best of meditation? The best of meditation is the meditation that helps someone to get rid of these sleeping, dormant, hiding defilements out of the system. If a meditation is helping somebody to get rid of these anusayas out of him, that meditation is the best. But not all the meditations are helping that. Some meditations are guiding to forget them. Okay, you forget them and concentrate on something else. As long as you suppress those defilements and concentrate on something else, you are good. But what happens after your concentration gone, your suppression on those defilements gone? What would happen? The danger happened. There was a monk in the times of kings in Sri Lanka, in the olden days, in Anuradhapura. He was a junior novice Samanera, and he could concentrate very well. And with the concentration, he had developed some psychological powers that he could walk on the sky. He could travel in the sky. He had these magical powers, psychological powers. He was always ready to show off that power. He had a teacher, and teacher was an enlightened being, enlightened master. One day this teacher asked this novice monk to bring him some flowers in order to offer to Swarnamali Stupa, Ruwanmalisaya. At the request of the teacher, this novice monk, he just did not go to the neighborhood to pick up some flowers, to pluck out some lotuses. He went to Himalayas, India, Anuradhapura to India, Himalayas, and brought flowers from Himalayas and gave the bag to teacher. While giving the bag to teacher, he tricked his teacher with a determination: no matter how many times my teacher offer flowers around the stupa, may the flower not over. And the teacher was offering repeatedly Few times he offered around the stupa, but the bag is not empty. It looks like he hasn't even touched flowers. It is full of flowers. Then the teacher understood. His own student made a trick on him. Then, seeing the future, teacher advised him, if you do not stop this nonsense, this showing of your psychological powers, be careful. If you don't stop this, you are going to be a husband to a woman who has lost one of her eyes, who is partly blind. But like anything else, power is drug, like money, like fame. It is not just marijuana or hashish, not just alcohol make you drunk. Money, power, prestige, fame, these things can make you drunk also. And this young monk was drunk with his power. He did not heed to his teacher. His youth, his young age, and his psychological powers. He was not ready to listen to his teacher. So while teacher was walking on the ground, he was flying. He was walking in the sky. In his flight, he happened to hurt a young girl while picking up some lotuses in a pond. She was singing, and her singing was so melodious, so beautiful. And the junior monk, in his flight, he heard this musical voice. As soon as he heard this musical voice, he was attracted to that voice. What happened? His psychological powers all gone, completely gone. Sensual desires, he was suppressing it with his concentration, and that sensual pleasures rose up. Now no more concentration. That sensual pleasure came up to the surface of the mind, and he just landed on the banks of the pond. And he has no control anymore. Those suppressed defilements, anusayas, now taking control over him. Now they are taking revenge on him because he has been suppressing them, suppressing those anusayas, those defilements for so long. They want to take revenge on him. He has no control. He asked the girl to marry him, and they married. They got married, and now he has to learn a profession. So he started learning weaving, and he became a weaver. He was working in his shop, in his factory one day. The wife was late to come with his food. He was so hungry. And the wife came. The food was not good. It was not delicious at all. So he was so angry. He started arguing with the wife. In the argument, in his anger, he took a needle and threw it at the wife. and that needle went straight to one of her eyes and blinded her. Now she is one eye blind. When he saw this, he remembered his teacher, his advice, but it is too late now. Cannot go back. This is what happened when you suppress the defilements. So suppression is not a cure. You have to find an elimination on these defilements. That's why Buddha introduced the meditation technique called Vipassana, a meditation of insight. This insight meditation, when somebody practices, we explain these 4 types of Satipatthana, establishment of mindfulness in our previous talks. The purpose of this Satipatthana, insight meditation, Vipassana, is to eliminate 2 areas of negativity. One area is these defilements in the form of sleepiness, in the form of hiding, oblivious to you, within you. And the second area is the accumulations, sankharas, based on the defilements throughout our rotating, infinite, life after life in this samsara, we have generated so much of accumulations, karmic accumulations. Today, what we are experiencing, good or bad, they are not just based on our immediate past life. You cannot complain everything to the immediate past life. Today, what we are experiencing can be related to thousands of lifetimes ago. As the opportunity arises, they come onto the surface. That's how things happen. If you have the environment of good, harmless, peaceful, nobody disturb another, nobody harm another, a peaceful environment, do you think the negative karmic energies within you have the opportunity to rise up? No, they don't. That is why in the Mangala Sutta, this factor of blessing is there. Patirupa desa vasocha, living in peaceful, convenient, suitable environment. If somebody is living in such a beautiful, peaceful environment, that environment itself is not providing the reasons for those unwholesome deposits of karma to surface. But it doesn't mean they go away. Those deposits of unwholesome karma will wait to revenge on you in the next life or next after next. Until the attainment of Nibbana, these accumulations will follow, come behind. At the right time, right opportunity, they come onto the surface and give results. That's how karma works. That's why karma is so mysterious, the way it works. So, How can we get rid of these accumulations, sankharas? Vipassana, insight, meditation. It is very clearly there. Lord Buddha has very clearly explained to us in Vipassana how to get rid of these sankharas. Yeah? These sankharas, these accumulations are food for the mind to prolong, for the mind to continue. And how does this mind continue? Based on what? Based on what nutriment? The nutriment for the consciousness to prevail is sankharas, accumulations. Yeah. In Vipassana, it is very clearly explained how our mind at present survive on the present food provided with our reactions to the present experiences in the world, with anger, with love, with jealousy, positive or negative manner, we react to the experiences that we are receiving from the world. That very reaction is the depositing of karma. And in Vipassana, Buddha says, stop this reaction and respond to them as they are impermanent, as they are causes for misery, as they are selfless, soulless. They are just activities. Don't react to them. Respond to them. Comprehend them. Understand them as they are. Yoniso manasikara. Reflect wisely on them. See how they arise, exist, and vanish. So in Vipassana, one practices stop the present accumulation, present sankharas, and then what happened? Mind finds no food in the present, no nutriments for the consciousness in the present existing times. Now from where he can find food? Like a camel living on the food that he ate before. That consciousness will find the nutriments from the past accumulations. So the past accumulated memories of hatred, love, good or bad, both start coming onto the surface. Then again, that Vipassana practitioner apply that same technique on those surfacing fast memories, emotions, positive, negative. Without any hierarchy, without any difference, he apply that same awareness of impermanence, misery, and selflessness. One of them he will apply. And with that application, he is not nourishing, he is not allowing consciousness to nourish on those past accumulations, but he is removing them, getting out of them, reducing their powers. So if someone were to practice like that, he is eliminating the accumulations within. One after the other, these accumulations will come onto the surface and vanish because he doesn't let them nourish his consciousness, and he is not letting them to flourish and control him. He is observing them in the form of, in the perspective of impermanence, in the perspective of misery, dukkha, and the selfless anatta. So he get rid of these accumulations. One day, sooner or later, there's a possibility that he can get rid of all the accumulations. Visankara gatam chittam. His mind, his consciousness is gone to the accumulationless. He has no more accumulations. And with that purity in the mind, he has also got rid of all those defilements in the form of a sleep. We call it anusayas, these latent tendencies. He has got rid of them also. So these are the efforts that one apply for the getting rid of unwholesome. First one is to stop arising those unarisen defilements within. If they arise, don't let them flourish. Don't let them control you. For example, a tendency to kill arise. What would happen if you allow that tendency to manipulate you? Make you a killer? Make you a thief? Make you a liar? Make you a rapist? What would happen? But there are unfortunate cases that people allow those tendencies to manipulate them. They become slaves to them and they get destroyed. So those defilements that have already arisen, you should not allow them to control you, but to destroy you. That is the second step. And with that, you get rid of the sanskaras, accumulations, the deposits, and also latent tendencies. So these are the two aspects of the effort. Remember, effort is a singular entity which has four aspects. First two aspects are concentrated upon the negative side. How to stop arising, how to destroy without letting them to flourish, unwholesome traits of the mind. And how to get rid of them before even they rise up, vipassana. That is the best of the meditation, because if a meditation gives you a temporary soothing, a temporary bliss and joy, that meditation is not that great. In vipassana, one enjoys the bliss, the joy, the happiness, and that is not temporary. The bliss and joy that one experiences in vipassana is not something he received with the suppression of the defilements. It is something he received with the destruction, with the elimination of the defilements. So vipassana helps us to get rid of those defilements in the form of anusayas, latent tendencies, and not to have a fear for the demotion to the hellish realms as our future lives. One who got rid of such defilements which lead one to hell are called the Sotapanna, stream winner. Because as one get rid of this fetter, this hindrance called Sakkaya Ditti, self-view, he get rid of all those powerful, unwholesome defilements which can lead him to hell. For somebody who attained to Sotapanna, only the Kama Sugati, blissful realms of sense pleasures are destined. He will never be born in hell. He will be born in only the blissful realms. Because with the destruction of Sakkaya Ditti, self-view, he has got rid of those tendencies which can surface and drive him to hell. So he get rid of those defilements in the sleeping mode, asleep within him. And also he get rid of those defilements as they are coming up onto the surface without letting them to flourish. Then that also vipassana, insight meditation. Insight meditation is the true and authentic technique one should apply, one can apply to get rid of these unwholesome aspects of life, states of life. And if somebody is putting effort, that effort is Sammappadhāna, the right effort, right striving. And that right striving is to get rid of the defilements, unwholesome states that have not risen yet, and the unwholesome states that have already arisen, without letting them flourish or control you, you get rid of them. It is the technique vipassana that you should apply. The effort you put into apply this vipassana is Sammappadhāna. We explained the first two factors of effort today. The next week we are going to explain the right aspect, right side of the application of effort. That's enough for today. Let's share all these merits together with our departed ones and the divine beings. Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanam. Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanam. Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanam. Idam me ñātinam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātinam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātinam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Blessings for you. Dukkha roga bhaya vera soka sabbe upaddava anekāntarāyāpi vinassantu ca tejasa. Jaya siddhidanam labham sati bhagyam sukam balam siriyayu ca vanno ca bhogam buddhi ca yasava Tatavasācāyuca jiva siddhi bhavantu te ayurārogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevaca ato nibbāna sampatti iminate samiccato. Sadhu.